Hey guys, Kyle here. So, just before the show starts, I wanted to mention our Patreon. You can pay us $1 a month as a thank you, as a tip. You can pay $2 a month to get access to one of our bonus content shows, episodes 2 days early, and a secret Discord chat where all of our Patreon donors get to go and hang out and talk with us directly. Then there's a $5 tier that you can donate to get access to a whole bunch more content. We have multiple bonus episodes on there, so please check it out. Patreon.com/itgetsweird. We don't advertise, we don't make money, so check it out and throw some money if you think that would be cool. Thanks. Welcome to It Gets Weird, our comedy show where we explore the unusual, the unbelievable, and the unexplained to try and make your world a little weirder. I'm Kyle.
Hey, and I'm Niall. And I would say we're back to normal, but we're not doing a normal thing this week.
Well, I'm back, and
that's true.
I would like to get this out of the way right now. All the accounts of me shitting and crapping and farting into my pants
are 100% true.
Well, no, I was going to say they're grossly exaggerated. And I mean grossly like nasty. They're really just a little exaggerated. There was a situation in the last week. Fecal matter may have squirted out into my underwear. And that underwear was on and pants were over that. That may have happened. But so it's only a little, like Jules, when she was saying it, made it sound like I was just unloading. And I have more self-control than that. Okay, it's mainly
you kept it to a reasonable amount of shitting yourself.
Yeah. Although I mean, some might argue that in as far as shitting yourself is concerned, it's hard to say there's a reasonable amount. I guess manageable, more manageable than if I were to like let's say I had like a Big Mac attack, diarrhea, splatter. That's far less manageable than what I had going on. And that's going to be a whole day. That's going to be like a whole event. I did not have a whole event. And also, I may have been out doing family stuff. That might also have been a thing that was going on, but there was just very minor pants shitting. This week, Niall, I have an email for you.
Just one? Okay.
Well, let's start off. That was misleading. There's a couple. We're doing something different this week.
Yes.
I don't know how often this will happen, and I don't necessarily want to make it a habit to do it like once a month or whatever. We had a big queue of emails and listener, responses and things, and we thought it might be good to clear the cache, as it were.
So today we're really going to gorge ourselves. Normally we set it aside for just a little treat at the beginning of each episode, have a little soupçon of user submitted email. But today it's like we're going to fucking Golden Corral and just loading up plate after plate. And we will be ending, of course, with the soft serve machine that you then, while the person's not looking, while those people are not, the workers are not looking, you dip that shit right in the chocolate fountain.
Right. Well,
and you go right on.
It's so loaded of you to use the term shit, dip that shit, right after my little screed about shitting myself, but that's okay. I also would argue you used some nice fancy French words for that relate to food and meals and stuff. I would say that this whole thing that we're doing here, I have all the stuff that was sent to us organized, sort of like a mise en place. And then we just
all things in place.
We just let the listeners cook, which is a phrase the kids use. The kids are like, somebody's about to say, like, do some like epic thing, and the kids will be like, no, let them cook. And so that's what I said to the listeners.
The way that Guillermo del Toro described Mia Goth in Pearl.
Is that true?
When he watched it, because he cast Mia Goth in Frankenstein off her performance in Pearl, and I have the quote here that I'm scrolling up to find. Give me just 1 second, because it delights me. He said, That's when I said, however she makes the sauce, I would love to cook with her.
That is...
So Guillermo del Toro wants to cook with Mia Goth, and you'll see that on Netflix's Frankenstein.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. You know, that really reminds me of a Guillermo del Toro-related sort of metaphorical, very symbolically tinged review. Did you ever see the very famous, well-known Blade 2 review?
Oh, the oh my god, the really horny one.
Yeah, well,
I have.
It's the one where is Guillermo del Toro. He did Blade 2.
He directed Blade 2. Yes.
Well, yeah. So the whole listeners, I recommend you look up Blade 2 review. And in my experience, bringing this up with people is it is a it's a bit of a coin flip on the reactions you'll get. It made me laugh. But yeah, suffice to say, if Guillermo's all about cooking in the kitchen, we also know that he's very much about eating the best pussy.
And here's what I'll say. Yeah. If you want for as far as I can tell, the review you're talking about is Harry Knowles' review for Ain't It Cool News, March 17th, 2002. A warning, Blade 2 is an R-rated movie. This is the NC-17 review of it. You have been warned. So I just wanted to really make sure people knew what they were getting into and where to find it. Because it's still up. They have not taken it down. And I'll just to quote the thing that Kyle was referencing, quote, 10-1, ... He used 4 dots because he's a professional. Mm-hmm. I believe Guillermo del Toro eats pussy better than any man alive. And watching Blade 2, I don't know if I would immediately come away with that exact understanding, but when you think about his work as a whole, especially when you get up to Shape of Water,
he's working with the whole.
Even Pan's Labyrinth and those kinds of things, I do think that he maybe has better gill work than most people, and more monstrous orifice work than anyone on Earth.
Yeah. You could say
I think that he gets how to pleasure the non-human anatomy better than most people.
Well, and women's pussies.
Yeah, true.
He's he's look.
God, this review is wilder than I remember it being.
Oh,
Jesus
you like that?
Fucking
Isn't
Christ.
It good?
I haven't read this in a couple years, and it is long licks with a nose bump on the joy button slowly. It's just. I'm not going to sit here and just read this entire review on our fucking on our podcast. But if you haven't read it, please go look up Blade 2
so
review.
Good. Well, the point I'm trying to get to is that Guillermo del Toro gets you a man who can do both. He's gonna give you a night you won't forget between the meal he's cooking up in the kitchen and when he takes you back to the bedroom. That's
I mean,
all I'm
and
saying.
Also hey, dinner and a movie, and dinner isn't food. He can really take care of the whole date, you know?
Yeah, no, he's great at that. So this is our mailbag episode. Again, don't know how frequently this will happen. We had a backlog of people emailing us and stuff, and I really want to. I never want to let anybody down by not reading their good thing they sent us. We just had a backlog, and we figured, well, sometimes people reach out to us with questions and stuff. Why not just do an episode where we respond to the audience, and see how it goes? So now I have some stuff here for you, and well, for me too. But I guess I have the benefit of sort of previewing all of it.
Yeah, you've kind of done the background work on this episode, so
yeah. So the first thing that I saw. This is from somebody who was going by the name Mr. Friendly. And they said, I commented on your underground show. Here is the song where the lyrics came from. It's from my old band, Mrs. Esterhouse. We were a Portland, Oregon band. The song is called Ben Miller. Feel free to play it on your podcast. Love the show, brohams. So a little context for this. So I think this person might be commenting on our Spotify.
Okay.
And I think some people were trying to figure out in our Discord. We have a Discord chat with listeners of the show who donate to our Patreon. Check out patreon.com/itgetsweird. And people were pointing out these Spotify comments that they were like, what is this? And apparently it sounds like they were lyrics to this person's band. Now, I checked out the song because they sent us a song. You can find the song on what's the website? Where a lot of SoundCloud rap gets uploaded, whatever. SoundCloud, that's what it's called.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, okay.
So I found it. If you look up Mrs. Esther House Ben Miller on SoundCloud, you can find the song. My review. The music kind of reminded me of, I was getting some shades of Young Widows, maybe a little Jesus Lizard, maybe some Pissed Jeans. And I think this person also commented on one of our episodes where they were like, I couldn't get into the song's Ohio stuff. So, hey, shouts out. I like the song. Niall, I think you would probably enjoy it too. Thank you for reaching out. I think they also, if I'm wrong, Mr. Friendly, feel free to correct me, but I think you also left this comment which said, great show here, fellas. Just a quick question, probably not a big question, but I don't remember what episode this is in response to. They say, if they made a live-action Trigun movie, who would be your pick for main character? Keep it up. Love y'all.
So are we casting Vash the Stampede
here? Yeah. My first thought was Hayden Christensen. And I'm telling you that because look at the times we have made live-action anime in the past.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think who could really use a return to the spotlight. It's Hayden Christensen. Everybody's talking about it.
Isn't Vash the Stampede, now correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he like only like 30 or something? Like,
how old is
Vash
Hayden Christensen now?
I mean, he was like upper 20s in 2002 when Attack of the Clones, like, you know, like he's probably in his like upper 40s right now.
I guess that's probably true, but we could probably convince him to get some like plastic surgery or something, maybe give him a check. Get him to look real young. I'm just saying, you know, if you want to make it a live-action anime movie, you got to make choices that will just absolutely tank its viability as a movie. And so, yeah. I think that's who I'm selecting. I guess that's a bit of a joke answer because I didn't have a real answer. Do you have a fan casting for Vash?
Okay,
Stampede?
So I gotta say I have not seen Trigun since high school, maybe.
If you say Timothy Chalamet, I'm going to kick your ass, by the way.
No. That's not where I'm going with this. Timothy Chalamet would be a very different vibe. I think like he's the main thing you're dealing with here is he's like kind of tortured, but he has this kind of goofball center to him, right?
Sure.
Like the reactions and everything tend to like he hides a lot of his melancholy with an exaggerated sense of humor and kind of playing dumb on a lot of situations. So you need someone with like a pretty good comic sensibility.
Yeah.
And like, so I'm trying to think of younger actors who have like comic sensibilities.
I'm really struggling to think of anybody young because I don't pay attention to them. And young is kind of the issue here because I was thinking like goofball, high energy, and I immediately was like, well, maybe Richard Kind, which could be interesting. You could have Richard Kind,
Jesus
and they
Christ,
could be like, you know, they're kicking him out of the bar, and he's dressed as Vash the Stampede, but it's just Richard Kind. And he's like, you're kicking me out of the bar for what? For what? Like, you know, he's got that sort of snappy, high energy thing, and he's funny. Little too Jewish for the role, maybe.
Just a touch.
But I hate to say it, but those are both of my answers, and you're going to have to accept them.
Yeah, look, I was trying to come up with like an actual answer here, and I don't want to just lean on the Glenn Powell button, even though I do think like he probably is in the running for most things in that vein right now. But I'm going to actually say, and you can You can take this as you will. I'm going to go ahead and say Alden Ehrenreich, that is because. So his claim to fame, which is not the best thing for what I'm talking about here, is he did play Han Solo in Solo, but he also he plays he's the cop in Weapons, and he's also
okay.
in terms of his comedic chops. Go watch the Coen Brothers movie. The Hollywood one from that Channing Tatum does the dance number in.
Oh no,
no, it's one of their recent ones. The one that has it's about the Red Scare, like a Red Scare era.
This might be one that I have not seen.
Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar. Okay.
He plays like an up and coming cowboy actor in Hail Caesar, and he's like legitimately very funny and charming in it.
Okay.
In a way that I think plays into the like playing dumb aspects of Vash as a character. So, between the kind of serious stuff I've seen him in, a la Weapons and some other stuff, and then the kind of comedic beats of a Hail Caesar, I think that he's at least like in his 30s, if not in his upper 20s, so is in the right kind of age range to be the lead in something like that. So that would be my fan casting. Fuck it.
I think that's clever. I will say, trying to translate anime style goofiness to live action, you're gonna have to take some liberties there because did you ever see the clips of Edward in the Cowboy Bebop live action show?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you gotta look those up. You have to look those up.
I honestly was afraid to watch that show.
It's uncomfortable. Let me leave it at that. So okay, I guess that's our Vash.
But like, if you think about like the heightened, when you get into a comedic Coen thing, where everything's a little heightened, every character is a little over the top in a way that kind of stretches the realm of reality. I think that wouldn't be the worst kind of analog for trying to break that into an American sensibility.
No, I could see that.
Weirdly serious
Niall's
answer for that
very
question,
real
but
answer, and my two bullshit ones. The big anime fan over here.
But hey, just do a Photoshop poster of Ryan Gosling in Drive with the big tall hair of Vash, and there you go.
There you go. Yeah. And Ryan Gosling to me reads like the answer that Hollywood might want for a role like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways.
God, have you seen Only God Forgives?
No.
Oh man. If you want to talk divisive movies, it was made as a direct, same director, writer, and Ryan Gosling returning as Drive. And if you go in expecting it to be Drive, it's like the biggest gut punch, once like the full thing of it is revealed. I love this movie. It is like he is that director that I can't pull the name of off the top of my head right now, is one of the most like I've heard writers use subtlety and they're all cowards kind of directors of all time. Yeah. It's like, but it just kind of rules. It's such a vibe. It's just like Ryan Gosling in I forget what Asian country he's in. Shit. But he's just like walking around being like in over his head and like there's a fight sequence in it that is legitimately a thing I think about once every 2 weeks. And I watched that movie like 2 years ago.
Wow.
It's
praise.
Pretty wild.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready for the next one? This is a bit of a longer one and a little more of a thinker.
Okay.
So this is from Terminal Moraine, who is in our Discord as well, and we talk with them pretty regularly.
Shouts out.
Shouts out. They're always coming in. They have a lot to say when I'm doing any of the like MK Ultra stuff. So this is what Terminal Moraine says. Salutations, weirdos. I'm not sure what to do with this or how to make this into a coherent email. The only thing I can think of to verify that I am not some random schizotypal person is that I was the person who clarified the development of the A12 Oxcart versus SR71 Blackbird in episode 434, The Usual Suspect. So, I don't take that as schizotypal.
Putting your bona fides.
Yeah, that's just, you just might not be neurotypical. Not beating the neurotypical allegations.
And hey, we love that here.
No, absolutely. I'm not what one would call a true believer, and I have no book to sell. I've listened to every episode several times over. Holy shit.
Hey, thank you.
I didn't know that.
Big time thanks.
Thank you. Lately, something has been on my mind. In the MK Decoy episodes, which MK Decoy, if I remember correctly, was the project about concussions. In the MK Decoy episodes, Kyle mentions the phrase, the memories you used to have. In the Andy Pero saga, Niall refers to part of Andy's wild backstory and says something to the effect that he would do shit like jump out of planes without a parachute after overcoming the ideas that you can't do something. Okay, this all tracks. And MK Decoy, that's a MK Ultra sub-project, by the way, about a concussion gun, basically.
Yeah.
Before I continue, a disclaimer. Andy Pero is a murderous piece of garbage. Yeah, hell yeah. We know all about it. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. The story is fun, though. I have mentioned parts of this in the Discord at various points, but I was a part of the GATE program, Gifted and Talented Education, starting in 1988. From the ages of 6 to 12, I have recently become aware of some people posting about it on TikTok and Reddit, and it gave me some interesting leads to something I had long joked about with close friends who would just say, "What the fuck was happening with your school?" This was always just an oddity in my life, a time where my otherwise eidetic memory has those old silent film scene missing placeholder cards, a curiosity and nothing more. On the subreddit Gate Research, I found several people posting their experiences in the program. There's a fair amount of variation, but people from as far back as the 70s and as recently as the 2010s are posting their Gate experiences, and there are a lot of commonalities with those of us who are actually in the program, quote-unquote, long-term. I'm loath to force Kyle into reading more about MK Ultra, but I'm starting to think there's some kind of connection there. Just a side note, you don't have to do that because I will remain in that realm until I feel like I've squeezed the whole thing completely dry, so don't worry about that. I also agree with you that Scientology poisoned the well. Great first album. On remote viewing. Yeah, this is in reference to our discussion of Project Stargate. Which, you know, there was a lot to do with the Scientologists that were involved. So that's a really fun episode. This leads me to the point of this email. I think there's some meat on this bone, and I'm offering my semi-anonymous help. My reason for doing so is that I like your guys' show. I've also listened to several other podcasts talking about the program and found them to be woefully uninformed. If I trust anyone to do this subject some kind of justice, it's you guys. Wow. Damn. Okay, thank you.
Damn. All right.
Long story short, look into the Monroe Institute and the CIA. Okay, I have seen this exact pairing of terms before. This is not new to me. I don't remember where, but I've definitely seen it. And then it goes on, the Gateway Experience, it's on Spotify, but try and find the 90s versions and the origins of the GATE program. Try listening to one of the Gateway intro tapes with decent headphones, and then consider that this was being fed to us several times a week for years, starting when we were 5 or 6. I mostly just want to know what they were looking for in my 6-year-old brain, but I think this is why the aforementioned quotes about how the memories you previously had and the idea that kids don't really know what's possible or impossible when they're very young. So the memories you previously had, I'm assuming this is in reference to one of the aims of MK Decoy, because there's a lot of stuff in the MK Ultra world and the sub-programs where it's like you're trying to wipe memories or like rewrite memories. There's things like that in there. So I'm guessing that's what that refers to. But they finish by saying, it's a weird one to be sure. Kindest regards, Terminal Moraine. P.S. If Garrett ever wants to talk about aerospace, tell him to holler at me on the Discord. Exactly.
Now here's the thing. I remember with the Andy Pero stuff, there's a part of it that I didn't get into in as much depth because it was like, and it's about his childhood school programs. It wasn't GATE specifically, but it seemed to be a kind of similar alternative learning school type program where it's just like, basically what I'm getting at here is like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of alternative learning regimen that is like being used for CIA backed research in the United States. And those things, so the GATE program might be a different newer or separate version of a thing like that than was referenced in the Andy Pero stuff. But also Andy Pero could just be,
being
totally,
Andy Pero.
Divorced from reality. I don't know. But it's interesting, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it would be it's one of those things where I have not necessarily read much about CIA doing alternative learning programs, but and like I think a lot of the more you'll see people argue about how MK Ultra ended in the 70s. I think it's a pretty reasonable assumption to make. Not a guarantee, but a reasonable assumption to make that MK Ultra, as far as the goals of the project are concerned, it probably continued past when it was supposedly killed by the congressional investigations and whatnot. So I kind of do assume. Again, disclaimer, I don't know this, but I would not be surprised if there was just ongoing MK Ultra style stuff. I've talked before about how the internet has connections to, the internet itself has some connections to the Department of Defense, and how that that could be traced back to these kinds of programs and top secret things like that. I don't see why not. And you've talked about Terminal Moraine. You've talked about this before, and I'm very curious about it. And I've run into it before. I've seen it discussed online, and it is one of those subjects where I don't feel like there's lots of material that connects these things, but I haven't seen material. I have seen a couple people talk about the GATE program being some sort of CIA operation, right? I've seen shades of that online, but there's no material, there's no reference to look at that confirms any of that. It's an open question, I think, but I would be interested in learning more. Maybe I'll hit you up in a private message or something and see if you can hook me up with some material to look at. It's an interesting story. I don't think we had, when I was in school, we had the AC program. They didn't, which I think was accelerated kids.
Yeah, it's accelerated kids. No,
advanced something or other. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. I was in the AC track, and it was whatever. And but
they weren't
how far it's gotten me.
They weren't psychic driving us with tape recorders. So it was just really what that resulted in is a class divide among students that caused angst among students, and it didn't really. I don't really know what its purpose was in retrospect. So
it's to make kids feel special, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know whether we need to do that, because frankly, it just kind of left me feeling when I realized that I was just stupid as fuck, it was a problem. I had to take some time to reflect.
I feel like it sets up a lot of people. The AC type program set up a lot of kids for a kind of stark realization later in life.
Yeah.
That you have a bit of an ego death,
Yeah, a little bit. You can't tell, look, obviously you got to be kind to children but at the same time, you probably can't tell them, I literally had a teacher tell me how smart I was and how one day, you ever hear people say one day you'll own the company that the bullies have to work for you at and stuff?
Yeah, people love to say shit like that.
Do not say that to kids. That's not a good thing to say. But I had somebody say that to me when I was in school because, I was dealing with bullies. But, yeah, oh man, I don't know exactly where to take this exact story, but suffice to say, I think it's an interesting one to look into, and I'll talk to you more about it later.
Sure.
Okay. Next up, I have two little questions here from Cincy Santa.
Hey, Cincy Santa.
Who is a regular in the Twitch chat, regular in the Discord, hanging out, chatting with us. Here's what we got. Question. What are each of your World of Weird white whales, so to speak? Subjects that you want to do but just can't get enough good info or have other reasons you can't present. I feel like I've talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'll give the answer that always comes to my mind with this question, and that's the octopus. And I think the benefit of us, because you can go out and find lots and lots of material on the octopus, the Danny Casolaro murder or death, whatever happened there. You can find that stuff very readily. There's a lot of good people covering that stuff, a lot of people who are less good covering it and getting stuff wrong. There's a lot to go on there. The reason this is my white whale, I really think it would be fun for me to present as much stuff as I can to you, Niall, specifically. Like, I think that's what would separate us from everybody else who's done all this research and stuff and done a podcast about the story and gone into serious, like, in-depth stuff on it. I just think that you would have a good conversation with me. That's what this podcast is about, right? But but that story, for anybody who's familiar with even like a fraction of it, the reason it's called the octopus is how many tendrils it branches off into, how complicated, how weird and confusing.
And like at a base level, a lot of it has to do with like accounting. Like it has like the way in is you have to like think about like the accounting transactions of like software. Then when you dig into it, there's a bunch of other stuff through that. Like it's a mess, but
And so like I would have to present that in a way that's more digestible than getting into too much technical crap. It's going to be a huge effort, and I have read a number of things and listened to a number of podcasts and watched a documentary. I'm very familiar with the story at this point, but I still find myself occasionally tripping and falling into another part of the story I didn't know existed. And it's very cool, and cool is an interesting word, but it's a very fun, entertaining, enthralling story that I would love to talk with you about. It's just very hard to talk about. So someday, I swear to God, I will, like, before this podcast is dead in the dirt, I do want to do it. But it's going to take me a while to get there. So that's my personal white whale.
Yeah, I've got a couple. There's like the big one that it's not a lack of information. It's just like much like the octopus, it's going to be a mini part thing. I will do JFK. That is my like obvious white whale that is like the glaring hole of a thing we haven't touched on this podcast, despite the fact that it's like one of the most well-known conspiracy theories of all time. It's so like that one isn't a matter of having enough information. It's just figuring out how to break it up. And my running theory is basically I'm going to break it down by theory. Like I want to do like an episode on like the ice bullet and shooter in the drain and like the actual like CIA cover up, mob ties. There's all these different angles that you kind of can take it from. So I think like I'll start peppering in JFK episodes in hopefully the next 6 months. We'll start doing some. But my more fun niche answers that are like, here's me trying to make a call out to if anyone knows a way into this. There's one that's a book I need to get a hold of and read, which is about basically Joseph Mengele being a lot of American serial killers. And I've talked about that one before. I'm going to get access to the book on it, and I'm going to read it. So that will be an episode at some point. But here's my shot in the dark one. Erosion isn't real. It's actually excavated electrical discharge mining.
What the
which I've only ever found this as Facebook post conspiracies.
Oh my God.
And it's so like if anyone has any idea where that theory comes from or like who is banging the drum of erosion isn't real, then please send it to me, because that's one that I've tried to kind of do some research on, and I keep just coming back to like 3 Facebook posts that I've long saved and tried to find stuff around them. and have had very little luck. So there's me just like planting that flag in the sand for everyone to hopefully send me something to do that episode, because it's delightful.
It's good to bring up these things, because then maybe we'll catch somebody who knows what you're talking about. I've never heard that before. That's very out there, very strange. It reminds me of like the first time I heard you explain the electric universe theory stuff, where I was like, what the fuck are we talking about? That's funny. The also the Mangala thing, because you've been talking about that since like day one. Like I think it
was a very early find.
It's really early, and I think you said something like there's like one post about it that you found.
So it was. I traced it back to a message board that you have to be invited to get into. But there's also a book that a lot of it comes from that's called The Bush Connection. I forget if I actually found a PDF of it, but it's for sale on Amazon. I just haven't bought it yet. So I have the capabilities to do that one, and I will get to it.
Okay. I wanted to throw two more at you on my end.
Great.
One that I think I will actually do someday, and another I may never do. But another assassination. I am very interested in the RFK assassination.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of conspiracy stuff around there and extremely weird stuff about that particular assassination, and it also ties back into other stuff I've talked about on this show. Like when we were talking about MK Decoy, I think I brought up the fact that there's a string of like political assassins and other types who all had brain damage from some sort of head trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And Sirhan is one of those people. And so I can't get into it, but you can maybe see where this is directed, especially since we already talked about the MK Decoy stuff on this episode here. It's a wild conspiracy that I find really interesting. But then to your Mangala thing, one of the things that I'm also curious about that again relates back to all the other stuff I just talked about potentially is basically I have a book called Programmed to Kill. Now, some people here are going to know what that is. And I think I haven't read it. But it's about like the cover-ups of serial killers, basically, in collaboration with I want to say like police, and the book is called Programmed to Kill: The Politics of Serial Murder. This is David McGowan. People out there probably know who this is and have heard of this. And that's one that I'm really interested in, and I'm going to read the book. I've heard some divisive opinions about McGowan, so it would be one of those things where I would read it, very much have to take it with a grain of salt, I think, but it's interesting to me. But also, it's about real serial murder, and that becomes true crime, and also it's really fucking gruesome, which I don't know whether I want to go there. Like, you can talk about an assassination because it's like, okay, this guy was shot and killed, it's a political assassin. You can kind of gloss over some of the serial murdering stuff. You just kind of gotta dig into some nasty stuff, and I don't know whether I want to go there. There's also some stuff like that I've thought about trying to cover, and because of just the subject matter, it's hard to find like the fun way in. Where it's like, you know, the MK Ultra being this kind of shotgun approach where they just like imprint a bunch of stuff, and then eventually someone just like snaps, and that accounts for a lot of the like random spree shootings and stuff in the US. And that's it's like it's a very dark conspiracy, and there's not like a lot of backup for it, so you're just kind of talking about people with mental illness shooting people, and it just isn't, you know, like it's just not. And that's just not what I'm trying to cover on this show most of the time. For sure. No, I 100% agree. And, you know, if I can find a way to make it, you know, palatable for this show, I would do it, but I'm not convinced I can. And I will tell you that there are other shows and books and things out there that will cover this stuff So if you want, it's out there if you want it. This is actually the same author of Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon, about Laurel Canyon. And that's another book that I'd really like to read, but I don't actually own. That relates back to a bunch of weird, I want it like the California stuff that I've covered too, that because California's got is a hotbed of weird shit in certain eras, probably still is.
I would assume so.
So, yeah, that's McGowan. I don't know if that will ever happen. If anybody out there is just going like, oh my God, I want to hear the Program to Kill episode, and it never happens, I'm sorry, but this is the warning that it will most likely not happen.
And just to wrap this up with a more kind of another kind of thing that I'm going to throw out there, if anyone knows any fun things, I want to do kind of occultism in rock and roll music at some point.
Yes.
Where there's an album by the Mars Volta that was made using a Ouija board, and there's the whole Zozo thing, and so if anyone just has fun music related occultism examples, you can send those over to me, because I'm gonna, hey, if there's enough of them, I'll do a couple episodes over time and kind of break them up into groupings. But I think some of that kind of stuff's pretty fun and interesting. And cursed albums and cursed recordings and stuff, kind of the way that you did the Poltergeist movie shoot stuff. That stuff is I find that fun to sprinkle into the mix of more serious kind of conspiracy stuff like we cover. And so I probably will do some of that stuff eventually.
Actually, sorry, it also reminded me of one other thing that I want to do, which is very similar to what you want to do, which is we've talked with people in Discord. This actually might have been Terminal Moraine again, if I'm remembering correctly.
It's pretty likely. We talk about them a lot.
I wanted to really see if there was good information on the crossover of the occult and conspiracy material with underground music, because there's a lot of bands and I'm thinking late 90s, early 2000s era, I don't know, Screamo and Scrams, whatever. I think the thing that provoked this too is I found that there was a Page 99 song, the Screamo band, that was I think it sampled I was doing an episode years ago that I think was about ghosts or a haunting or a possession, and there was a recording that was related to that topic that gets sampled at the start of a Page 99 song. I don't remember what song it was, but I've been... so anyways, then the topic was brought up on the Discord where people were saying there's heavy crossover with that stuff and underground music. And a lot of it's aesthetic, but I have to wonder if there's more. So that was another thing that I was curious about. Anyways, we can move on. Thank you for the question. We actually have a two-part here from Cincy Santa. This one, Niall, if you had to be made into a marketable plush or figure, which company would you want to do it? I have an instantaneous answer, but
so let me look up who makes a certain thing. You can go ahead. And I'll have an answer for you in
folks,
just a minute.
You're going to be getting the highly posable, many points of articulation Kyle Revoltech. That's probably one of my favorite lines of figure. One of my favorite figures that I own is an Alphonse Elric Revoltech figure. It just looks fantastic, and it's very posable and cool. I think I actually, you know what? I think I have a Vash the Stampede that's Revoltech as well. I know I have a Vash the Stampede. Whether or not it's Revoltech, I don't remember. But I would choose Revoltech. As for plushes, though, that's going to be a more indie sort of operation, because what I want in that, if that were to happen, I am contacting an Etsy witch who also does crafts, and I want that witch to imbue my plush with occult powers. That's what I want. So then you could say with every plush, Kyle plush that you get, you're also going to, be able to I guess I don't know what you would do with that necessarily. You will be able to tap into occult powers that beyond your wildest imagination by having this plush. That's what I'm going for. An Etsy witch. After I've seen what they can do to Charlie Kirk, I can't help but accept their power and humble myself before them. And maybe if I make good friends with an Etsy witch, she can make me a plushie. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. So here I have a couple answers. So I don't think that like a super detailed, crazy, articulated figure of me would be that interesting. No, I think your answer is great, and I just want to go in a different direction. There's a series of blind box figures that are the Godzilla 4 Shogun, the Shogun Godzilla designs, and they're all based off of emulating the tin Godzilla toys from the 1960s, and they're this one this is clear, but it's in this line, and they're this kind of weird level of detail where it's like you can tell they were like working around a bunch of restrictions of the medium and stuff and like the machining, and I find them very charming. And so like I want something that is kind of like fake retro in that way. So this is like you can see the packaging there.
Yes,
it looks very
this
kind
is a retro Godzilla toy.
So they're by Reaction. So the Reaction Shogun line would be my figure pull. But then the when it comes to plushes, there's a new one that just came out that's a Hedera that I want to look up who made it because I like them.
Also, I should say that there's also, you could just get the Kyle model kit, like a high grade Kyle, which would be kind of cool for me. You could put me together and you could customize it and paint it or whatever you want to do with it. But I am going to request that nobody comes on it. So
don't stick
not
it
allowed
in a jar.
Yeah, no
and,
jar stuff.
Drown that thing.
So
I guess these are also manufactured by Super 7. But Super 7 makes some Godzilla plush that are kind of like big-headed, smaller body. And they made a Hedra with these like star eyes in it that I really love, and I kind of want one really badly. So I think I would go, my plush answer would be Super 7.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you is that you want to be transformed into a cute little Godzilla toy.
I would love I would love someone to make a fucking kaiju, and it gets weird kaiju line. If anyone's artistic out there, and wants to like make fan art of us as like fucking kaiju in some way, I would adore that.
And if you want like I do probably know some artists who ever want art, a depiction of you transforming into like a little helpless toy. That could also probably be arranged. It might get sexual, but
I do love the fact that you added in the modifier helpless there. Because that insinuates that the toy is both sentient and also unable to impact its own life.
Well, clearly in this illustration, you would be transformed, but you would still retain all your senses, and you could be like, oh fuck, I'm a little toy, I hope nobody puts me up their butt.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's our answer. Excellent. So I have another question here, and this is from a user in our Discord who I never know how to pronounce their name, so I'm going to say it out loud. I've never said it out loud before, but I've always said it in my head as spy friend. So like spy friend almost. Spy
I would
friend.
say spiffrin.
Spiffrin.
Yeah,
Spiffrin. Okay, yeah, it could be spiffy, could be spy. It's hard to say.
Hey, go ahead and in the Discord tell us if one of us is right, or if not, give us a phonetic pronunciation.
Please. And backwards it's nerfips, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
But Spy Friend asks, did you guys ever anticipate the pod going on this long or harboring a community like it does now? Also, what are your least favorite / least plausible cryptids? To answer the first question, no, absolutely not. We made this show thinking nobody would ever listen to it, and now we have a pretty consistent and good-sized community, which fucking rules, and we appreciate you very much. So No, we did not. We did not. We thought, I mean, the show was made on a lark, and I think you can tell in the early episodes.
Like I don't know how much of this has been talked about on the show. I'm sure we've mentioned it before, but the first episode was like there was probably less than a week between the first time Kyle was like, what if we did a podcast, and us hitting record on the first episode. And the first episode literally was recorded because Garrett was up at our apartment for a weekend, and we had been up late the night before, and like Kyle and Garrett was like going home that day. So we were just totally like just hanging out and recording, and like it was just a thing to do to pop ourselves. We'd all started kind of listening to podcasts. And as you do when you start listening to podcasts, you're like, I think I could do that. And we did it. I didn't think it was going to last this long. I didn't know how it was going to last. Like I had very little expectation going into this. You never I didn't expect it to, because I didn't expect us to like market it like a product, or really pull for trying to get advertisers, or stick to like any sort of format that would make the show more palatable and marketable. I've never really had a lot of expectation on what this show would be or how long it would go. And the answer now is just, it's going to go as long as we still find it fun to do.
Yeah.
And it hasn't, there have been ebbs and flows in that a little bit, but it has consistently stayed a thing that I've enjoyed doing, and enjoyed having the time and especially now that Kyle and I live in different places.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a specific thing where I talk to my friend of, my best friend of almost 20 years at this point, like over around 15 years at this point.
Yeah.
In a way that I don't always get to anymore. And so I really like the community. I like the Discord. I like, sometimes I have trouble staying super engaged in spaces with a lot going on, just because to get kind of,
it's overwhelming.
It's like, where do I really have, which it's weird to have this thought when the Discord is for your thing. But like, it's like, I don't really have, there's really nothing that I can add to this, when it's like people are there because they like my show.
Yeah.
But that goes to show kind of the mentality of us.
No, I think we're very similar in that regard. And the thing that I've always hoped for the Discord community is that people there would start talking among themselves about the things that they're interested in, and a lot of the times it has crossover with what we're talking about on the show. I try to stay in there and stay up to date on, and I also get I get overwhelmed by sometimes it hits me, where I'm like, oh my God, there's like so many people in here, and they're all here because of this show that I do, and there's nearly 500 hours of my voice that they've heard, and but I don't know. I think we're both very happy with everything. And I was going to say the exact same thing. The show is going to go as long as we're still having fun with it. And, we're almost 10 years in now and still having fun. And, so no, none of this was expected. This is just a happy accident to have this solid community. So thank you again. I can't say it enough. Thank you all the listeners. Now, as far as our least favorite and least plausible cryptids, plausible favorite. I mean, least plausible. That's a tough one to answer because there's a lot of implausible cryptids.
Like there's a lot of them that were just like, oh, that's probably just like a dog, or oh, that's probably like a bear. Like there's things where it's like a more mundane answer. I'm trying to think of. Like I think the like Sandown clown is really kind of implausible. Now,
yes,
it fucking rules.
No, I was going to say
the Sandown clown.
Sandown clown is one of those I want to believe stories. For me. I mean, plausibility for me, it would probably, because favorite, that's to put the least favorite. I don't know whether I want to denigrate the cryptid community like that, but as far as least plausible, I do think that one of the worst offenses in the cryptid community is the dinosaurs are still alive thing. And I'm not like upset about it, but it is like it's a very slippery slope to young Earth creationism, which is why it kind of bums me out. Like I conceptually I love the idea of a living dinosaur. That's very cool to me, but it's also the one where it's like reality check, there's probably not dinosaurs out in the, I mean, but then a coelacanth is sort of a dinosaur. There's fucking flora, there's trees and plants and things that are prehistorical 100%, so those things exist, but the idea of like a plesiosaur is like a little absurd. But then like Nessie is one of the biggest named cryptids in the world, and that's basically just a plesiosaur. We do love Nessie. I'm talking specifically about the people who slip into the young Earth creationism stuff, because I've encountered that a number of times with the dinosaur stuff. Okay, so next up, this is a short one, but we got an email from Bees Churger.
Fantastic. All right.
And they said, thought you should see this. Looks like the big cheese gets to add the first notch to his credibility stick. Now, for listeners at home who may be unaware, this is in reference to Andrew Basiago.
Yeah, thus named the big cheese on this podcast.
Cheese because Asiago is in his last name. It's Asiago with a B. Bees Churger. Basiago. Asiago. So that's the big cheese. But they sent us a screenshot of the Associated Press, a tweet by the Associated Press that says, asked how the infamous birthday card was planted when it was in Epstein's personal effects before he first faced charges, Trump offers a far-fetched hypothesis. Quote, Obama with a time machine? Wouldn't surprise me. Deep state has things you can't imagine. So...
How did I miss this?
I don't know. That's our president. Oh, this is from Reddit. I'm sorry.
For anybody who doesn't know the Andrew Basiago story, here it is in very quick succession. So as a teenager / early adult, he was part of a program that was using what is called a jump room for fast travel to Mars. And in that program with him was one Barry Soetoro, aka Barack Hussein Obama. And so they both were doing these missions back and forth from Mars, working with aliens there and doing stuff on the base and kind of doing almost like super soldier shit. But then, when you come back, they give you your time back. So like you can spend time there, and then when you come back, it's like it never happened. So you finish your kind of I think it's like a 7-year cycle or something. You work for them for a while, and then you basically get time traveled back to your body before all that happened and move on. So so supposedly Barack Obama was part of this program. So Barack Obama with a time machine is. Yeah, maybe Basiago is on to something, and we shouldn't have laughed at him.
Well, it sounds like the fucking president is at least gesturing towards Obama's time machine connections. So that's... I almost said good, but I don't have words for that, I think. Words fail me right now. So thank you for that, Bees Churger. We have here's another. This is more of a story, I believe. This is from somebody going by the name Louisiana, and they say this: "Hello, weird guys. I've emailed before about the strangest of my hometown with the ghost dogs and faceless nun and such. During part 2 of Injured Cold with talks about shadows, I was reminded about something that happened when I was in my late 20s. Some background. I wouldn't consider myself a superstitious person, and I only care about a few things in that regard. Another thing is I have sleep disorders my whole life. Insomnia, hypersomnia, nightmares, night terrors, all ends of the spectrum, and I guess I'm getting sleep apnea now. The last thing is going to be my husband is Hispanic and a first-generation American. These will eventually be important to the story, but let's get on with it. This takes place at some point in 2019, and my future husband and I have moved in together in this like 90s era complex. He talked me out of buying a house that screamed haunted to live there instead, by the way. A few months into living there, he starts to complain about nightmares and feeling strange in the apartment. He works from home, so he's there more than me. It gets to the point where he refuses to talk about anything related to the inside of the apartment and will only talk about it if we're out, and he's very quiet when he does say anything. He told me that his mom was cursed by the village witch before he was born, and that when his family went to someone to fix it, they did the whole egg thing, and it was bad. Is this a brujeria thing, maybe?
It sounds like it.
By extension, my husband has thought he was cursed for most of his life, and now he's worried something is after us in the apartment. I tell him it's fine and I'll protect him. He's a foot taller than me, and at the time I was incredibly sick and barely weighed 100 pounds. At some point later, like months, I'm laying in bed with sleep paralysis. This happens a lot, so I'm used to it. I'm looking around the room to try and find our cat when I look over at the foot of the bed, and against the wall is a tall, not huge, vaguely humanoid figure with bright eyes. I'm not scared because I'm just incredibly tired and annoyed at this point, especially with how badly my husband has been scared about things. Mustering all the strength that my tiny body can handle, I fight against the sleep paralysis as best as I can, and I end up saying, "Fuck off, man." It's slurred, slow, non-threatening, and most of all tired. The figure looks directly at me and just blinks out of existence. Satisfied, I immediately fall asleep. The next week, my husband tells me that the apartment feels better to him now and he has been sleeping better. I'm not saying I did anything, but maybe being told to leave by the world's weakest little baby man hurt its ego enough to move somewhere else. I've never seen anything else during my paralysis spells except for my cats being jerks in our bedroom. Well, that's classic cat stuff. We did move out of that apartment to another state for my job a couple years later, so who knows what went on there. Another keep it weird niche, and slightly confusing, my guys. So they accidentally banished an entity during sleep paralysis.
I guess it does come down to intention, not a specific religious belief. I like that.
I guess so. It's interesting. I mean, I've had sleep paralysis, and no amount of fighting gets me out of it. And so I'm impressed to hear. I mean, maybe if you do it enough times, you just get used to it and you go, I'm going to try and snap out of it. So that's kind of crazy in and of itself. This actually makes me think. So I like your story. This actually reminds me, and I can't remember if I told this on the show before, but within the last year, I had sleep paralysis worse than I ever had it. And it was a straight up like alien over my bed situation. It was like a tall, thin, gray alien creature, and it had its arms pinning my arms to the bed. And I mean, for however long that sleep paralysis lasted, I was so goddamn scared, and I woke up in a sweat. And I woke up just thinking to myself, no fucking wonder some people think like will have abduction experiences like this in their bed, because it felt extremely real and it scared me so badly. And I was probably reading about some alien shit for the podcast, and it was just in my head a lot. So I think that may have influenced because like in the past, a lot of my sleep paralysis stuff was not, it's like, it's hard to explain. It's more abstract and like dark shapes and shadows and stuff. But I've never banished a demon or a curse. So, props to you. Thank you very much, Louisiana, for the email. It's a very interesting story. I would like to get more. I love these paranormal feeling stories. I eat that shit up. I think I've talked about how I used to go on, I don't remember the name of the website, but I used to go on a website that was just people submitting their paranormal experiences, and I would read it to spook myself when I was really young. So I love that stuff.
Hell yeah.
Okay, now, guest star, wife of the show.
True.
Jules is here.
The show wife. Decemberist, the show wife.
That's right, the show wife. I forgot about that. Jules is here because we have some stuff that's directed at Jules and Niall in response to the recent Halloween movie review, which I was telling Niall,
the smash hit that's getting its own spin-off show.
I was telling Niall that I have seen this movie and I listened to you guys talk about it, and as you were talking about it, I was like, oh my fucking God, I have seen this before and had completely forgotten about it, because let's be honest,
it slid right off.
It's pretty easy for that movie to slide off your brain.
Yep.
So here's the thing, and I want to preface it with this. We have two big responses One from a person who really does not like Rob Zombie and his movies, and another person who likes them.
Okay.
And they're both civil, to be clear.
Welcome to Crossfire.
Yes, exactly. So here I have my Rob Zombie section. So this is from Fate, who is somebody who has contacted me through social media before, and we've chatted a little bit. They were giving me info on like Betty and Barney Hill and some other stuff. So shouts out.
Cool.
But here's what Fate says. Hello. I really do not like Rob Zombie's movies.
Big handshake meme.
The only guy
I'm getting there.
It's the only guy I know of personally, as in real life, not online, who ever did like his films, ended up getting arrested for human sex trafficking of a mentally delayed girl, and tried to sell her. Tried to sell her to a person or something like that. They did link to this arrest record in the email.
They brought receipts.
They brought receipts. I'm not gonna share that here.
We're not gonna dox anybody.
No. But they go on and say, he was a weird guy that was a neighbor of a friend of mine. He made myself and a few others watch House of a Thousand Corpses with him one afternoon. Even with all the crazy stuff on screen, I remember getting bored. With that said, I actually find Rob's first Halloween film his best film, but not good.
Damning with faint praise.
Oh, amazing.
Personally, my opinion of Rob Zombie is that he makes things weird and excessively gory just to do so with no point. I do know of people online who do love his Firefly trilogy just because they are insane. I think they're saying that the Firefly trilogy is insane, not the people who watch it. But to me, they are just insane, gory, and tons of crap in them, but seems to just have it. To have it. Your mileage may vary with Rob Zombie films. The only reason I say Halloween is Rob's best film is because the original film is so good, and as Jules pointed out in the start of the podcast, beat for beat, this is just that, but done bad. Rob originally had a lot of issues with the studio executives, the Weinsteins. They wanted to change things. Also, I guess Rob's original idea was just a prequel film that could have been either a standalone film or a prequel to the original, or the start of a 2-movie story, with the second one being a remake of the first. I think we talked about this on our bonus episode this week, Niall, but here we've got...
You were cheating on me?
No.
Talking about Halloween with other podcast hosts?
It's true. I'm sorry.
Oh,
we didn't get too deep into it.
You disgust me.
No, it's all good.
I did say I'm not going to go too deep into this. We got to talk about it on the bonus.
Yeah, and this was
the
cheating equivalent of a peck on the cheek between me and Niall. Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, that's allowed.
So they go on to say the first film with this approach would have been just kid stuff, building up his child's psychology and establishing him as a really mentally ill or disturbed kid that no one really notices. It would have ended with the death of the family. One source I found when researching the prequel idea I remembered reading about said the first film would have ended with him escaping the mental hospital. The Weinstein brothers hired Rob Zombie knowing that this was his idea, and then made him combine his prequel idea and a remake of the first one into one film, and it was a horrible experience. It made enough money to justify a sequel, so they decided to make another one with or without Rob, starting from the ending of his film.
So how many murders are we adding here? I gotta say, that was pissing me off just watching the movie. But imagine how many murders we're adding to the Michael Myers kill count if we're going through from his childhood up until he escapes from the institution. So he already added like two. He added two extra people.
Because you have
three extra
boyfriend.
People.
Yeah,
the boyfriend too.
Yeah.
So there's already 3 kills that aren't canonical.
Or no, we're talking about one of the women is the nurse, right? You're counting the nurse.
I'm saying that he kills his imaginary stepdad, boyfriend, and bully at school.
Okay, yeah.
And those don't happen
right
in the original. And then he kills his sister. Yep. That's canonical.
Yeah.
And then he added the nurse after that. But then we're gonna do the rest of the movie is still in the institution. Yeah. So what's he doing?
Well, he's probably gonna kill Danny Trejo too.
Oh my God, Danny Trejo's still in it?
You think?
How long of an arc is Danny Trejo? Anyway, I have spent way too long thinking about the Rob Zombie Halloweens. I'm so ready to be... I want to wash my hands of him.
So you two have already watched the next one?
Yeah, we've watched Halloween 2, and we're gonna record the podcast on it.
Okay.
No spoilers.
Okay.
You gotta subscribe to the old Patreon for that one.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, your count's up to 2 now in terms of people you've convinced to sub.
Oh, my body count?
Yeah.
Dose.
Yeah, put a couple notches on your belt.
Exactly. And they know exactly what they did.
They go on to say, on another note, I do wonder if a lot of the issues that go nowhere during the childhood stuff of the film would have been explained better if he would have gotten a full film. I think his original film was also going to explore what would make a childhood psychologist declare a child pure evil with the devil's eyes. Then his second film...
That is so integral to Rob Zombie's take on the movie,
Yes.
is that, like, Loomis has to be a horrible person.
Yeah, it has to be a hack.
And I hate that so much. It makes my blood boil.
Then his second film being a remake of the first, maybe Rob would have done more with, or perhaps that the second film would have never been made because his original idea was the childhood film also just served as prequel to the original film as well. As for my opinion on the Halloween films, I like the first one, the third the best, then the second one. I didn't hate the newest 3, though. I think the newest 3 are better than 4 through 6. I liked H2O better than Resurrection, and I thought Resurrection was just okay, middle of the road. Love your podcast, would love your thoughts on the info I shared.
That's a goated ranking.
Yeah, that's not that far off of... We need to watch Resurrections and H2O. Yeah. I haven't seen H2O since college. But
that's a bomb-ass ranking. Any ranking of the Halloween movies that starts with 1 and 3 are the best is correct.
Yeah.
And then you can't really fuck it up after that. Like, if you nail that.
Yeah. Those are kind of the important ones. And after that, it's like... I think 2 is almost... 2... I would put 2 and 4 as the next, like... of the originals, and then 5 and 6 can be anywhere in your rankings, and I don't give a shit. But the David Gordon Green ones are up there as well.
Yeah.
So,
they end with, love your podcast, would love your thoughts on the info I shared. Have a good October. Also, maybe the $1 tier for Patreon can go for new pants for Kyle due to him staining them with crap so often. Okay.
I'm
All right.
so glad you had to read that on the podcast.
Fuck.
But what do you think?
yeah, what do you think about that?
About getting new
How
pants?
many? What's the donor goal for some new pants?
We're going to
for you?
start a goal for $1,000.
We're going to buy Kyle some trap pants.
These are going to be
We're gonna get Kyle $1,000
$1,000
pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would love to get some vintage Junko jeans. Could be kind of fun
Sure.
for me. So we'll see what $1,000 can get us in 2025 in the jeans department. So that's Fate. That's Fate's response. Thank you very much for your email.
Let me just say, Fate, thank you very much for sending that. That stuff about the like production issues, all that stuff comes across in the movie 100%.
It
and you
rings
can tell,
very true.
You can tell that he was way more interested in that first 35 minutes of him as a child than he was anything else that happened in that movie. And so like the fact that was the pitch that he went to the Weinsteins got, and then they were like, you know what? Let's actually just like make that the intro, and then you have to just remake the movie after that is very on brand for the way the Weinsteins work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's that makes perfect sense. I don't know if I'll ever actually watch more Rob Zombie movies after these Halloween ones, because they didn't really convince me that he's got stuff that I need to see, because Halloween is not a good movie.
Were you hesitating to not give away anything about the second one?
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about the second one.
We have much more specific Rob Zombie takes after the second one.
Yeah, the second one feels much more like his movie.
Yeah, and even so, I'm not fucking interested, Rob.
Interesting. I was saying on the bonus on the Patreon that I've seen House of a Thousand Corpses, but sort of like the first Halloween movie, I don't remember a goddamn thing about it. I can like picture some imagery from it, but what it's about, I don't know. I don't remember.
It really feels like Rob Zombie makes fucked up horror movies for people who only watch like mainstream big budget like studio horror, you know? Like he's fucked up horror movies for people who don't know how to like watch indie horror at all.
He's a Twisted Mind sponsored by Spike TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty accurate. Now, all that being said, we do have the positive counterpart here.
Yeah, give me the positive. I would love someone to pitch me on Rob Zombie and make me understand.
So here is, would you believe it? We have another Weird John.
Oh, hey, Weird John.
Weird John chimes in on the Rob Zombie situation. I don't know why it's a situation.
The incident.
The incident. Weird John says this. This one goes out to Jules and Niall. Jules was asking people's opinions of Rob Zombie and why they like him. I should first state that I'm neither a diehard Rob Zombie fan or apologist, nor a film connoisseur, but I do enjoy his movies. I think if you're looking for thoughtful films that explore complex themes or topics in a nuanced way, you won't be a fan of Rob Zombie movies. Also, to give some background for me, I've never been particularly hung up on movies needing to make sense. I know there are some people who are completely taken out of the movie experience if something seems unrealistic or the logic doesn't quite line up. I'm pretty good about suspending my disbelief, and enjoying movies for what they are, which I think also helps with enjoying Rob Zombie movies. What I can give him is that he has a particular style akin to 70s grindhouse/B horror movies. A lot of it feels like schlock and spectacle for its own sake, rather to convey any deeper messages. His style was especially, to be clear, and this is no shade at you, Weird John, but I feel like this is what both of you said.
This is actually bomb-ass because it's actually what the other email said.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, that's
but it's
for
just
sure.
saying it like, but all those things
and
are
I like
good.
that, yeah. Those,
which
all those
I'm
things you just
psyched
described.
about, like, because that honestly is so correct. It's so, like...
If you want, yeah.
Because, like, what we're learning here is everyone understands what Rob Zombie is. They're just people who like it and people who don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's, yeah. They go on to say, his style was especially refreshing if you put it in the context of when his movies came out. If you do a quick favor and look at the horror movies coming out in the early 2000s, they were mostly stinkers with a few gems here and there. I really enjoyed House of a Thousand Corpses because it was a bit strange and felt unlike anything else coming out at the time. Is Rob Zombie a master filmmaker? No. But he does make fairly consistently fun or shocking movies with a distinct style. Rob Zombie is the Adam Sandler of horror. Great show as always.
What's interesting is I actually said around the time that we watched the first Halloween, we had a whole discussion about how when I watch horror movies from the early 2000s, I have to like lower my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true just sort of generally. You have to go into it being like, I think that there was a lot more... I don't know how to describe it exactly because there are different problems in the industry now that are limiting what we're getting in terms of movies. But the way I phrased it to Niall was like, you wouldn't have gotten Beau is Afraid in 2002.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
That couldn't have happened. And so there is just something where I go, okay, I think I know like the physical shape of what a studio horror movie is going to look like in the early 2000s.
And you had your stuff like your Platinum Dunes and your Anchor Bay type stuff, which is mean, but it's mean in a very... kind of detached, almost ironic way, where there's a lot of like cynical meanness to it, and I think like that led to a lot of kind of deconstruction of tropes, but in a way that is very missing what made the originals interesting, which is why a lot of the remakes from that era are kind of failures. It's why I think legitimately the Friday the 13th remake is maybe one of the better of that era, because it effectively works as like a greatest hits of like the first 4 Friday the 13th movies, and just like spends a little bit more on its cast than a lot of the other ones of the time period, and gets people who, while they're not the best actors in the world, at least have like held a screen presence before. And
I think you overestimate those people's quotes. You've said that to me before, and I'm like, they got them cheap, baby.
I mean, they did, but they're people who are at least a name that you have heard before.
Can you imagine Padalecki's quote? It's unbelievable what they paid.
He made at least double scale. You know, this guy. What is he in that movie? Maybe number 3 on the call sheet. You know,
2.
2
easily.
Yeah,
2.
Okay, I was putting Jason as probably 2.
This is
the actors who play those guys are not top billed.
Yeah, that's fair.
What is his name?
Picture the poster for Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Kane Hodder.
Whatever that fucker's name is.
The Shape.
He's not credited on the poster.
That's fair.
I don't think so. I think it would say Danielle, what's her name?
Danielle
Jared
Panabaker?
Padalecki.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
What's the
Maybe Padalecki won, honestly, because he is a white man.
Yeah.
We do stay winning.
Yeah.
You absolutely do, King.
Well, which is that the thing? Like, maybe that's why the Nightmare on Elm Street. This is such a.
I just want to point out that
Please.
listeners, this is what they talk about when they're not podcasting, right? This is what this sounds
no joke.
like. By the way,
this is just like you're dropping a mic in our house.
This is what it's like.
Because when you look at the Nightmare on Elm Street remake from around the same time period, the top build there is fucking Jackie Earle Haley.
Yeah, but
that's Freddy.
Robert Englund is one of the guys who's
thing.
credited.
That's
That's the guy.
I know.
He's
I'm saying
credited.
like it's that's the different franchise, and now that is maybe the worst of the remakes.
Would he be credited in the first one when it first came out? Would it have said Robert Englund is Freddy?
I think probably
he talks and has a personality. Like guys who skulk around in masks aren't getting top billing above the title.
No, I think you get him in 3. 3 is where Robert Englund starts getting credited.
Because he's recognizable as an iconic figure, and it's him.
Yeah. Anyway. Was there more to this one?
Am I wrong, Kyle?
No, I
guilty.
follow. I don't have an argument, but and
when you're watching the credits to a movie, Kyle, do you notice which actors' names come up after the word and after the word with?
Yeah, I do kind of
notice. This is a thing we obsess over. We go, ooh, Pleasance with the and.
Yeah.
Actually, Donald Pleasance is above the title in the later sequels. It's Donald Pleasance in Halloween.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Hey, good for him.
He was the only actor.
He's only returning.
He was the only guy who was in all of them. It was like, we got the guy.
That's true.
He's in it. He's in this one. Yeah, don't worry. He picked up First Ring.
Yeah.
No.
His agent was waiting for the call.
I do have a follow-up that's relevant.
Yeah, go ahead.
For Jules being here, but is not Halloween related. But this is more from Weird John. Per Jules' request on the Hollow Earth episode from a couple weeks ago. Below what they sent me is a list of strange celebrity names that are funnier when you say them differently than they are. You know what I mean? Here, you'll get what I mean. So here's the list, okay? Bob De Niro, which that's just what I call him when I call him on the phone.
Was this when we were calling him? Was this when we were talking about William Joel?
Bobby.
Was that the impetus of this? Remember correctly?
Bobby Downey Jr. That would just sound very wrong. Arnie Schwarzenegger. Okay.
Bob De Niro and Arnie, those are ones I've heard people do to try to seem familiar.
Yeah. But usually it's not Arnie Schwarzenegger, it's just Arnie.
It's Arnie. So saying the full name is like, who?
Yeah.
Thomas Cruise, sure. Thomas Hanks. Bradley Pitt.
Bradley Pitt, you get down here this instant.
Or I'll throw you in the Bradley Pit. Jonathan Depp, sure. Jenny Aniston. Angie Jolie. That doesn't roll off the tongue right. Benjamin Affleck.
I think Jenny Aniston was the person who was in Leprechaun before she kind of broke out.
And what percentage of these were used on Tim and Eric?
That's very true. Diamond Jim and shit. Yeah. John Depp is on Tim and Eric, and Billy Crystal's. Alfred Pacino. Harry Ford, the U.S. president.
Yeah, Kyle. Yeah.
James Carey, Danny Radcliffe, Clinton Eastwood. This one got me. Marcus Wahlberg. I really like Marcus Wahlberg. Jackson Chan.
Oh my god.
Dan Craig, William Farrell, Thomas Lee Jones, Jackson Black, Stephen Carell, Jimmy Franco.
This is extensive.
This is a lot. Mac Culkin.
I love this.
Mac Culkin. William Murray. Vincent Vaughn. Frederick Mercury. Oh, God. Demetria Moore?
Demi Moore.
No, I got it. I just Demetria. Is that the full? Is that the full version of Demi?
I have no idea.
Oh, and this one's good for people who. Oh no, the word's still in it. I'm fucking.
You're fucked.
I'm so stupid. You're about to get why. I was about to say this is like a censored version that you can say in appropriate spaces. But Richard Van Dyke.
You're so stupid.
Melvin Brooks. And Tim Chalamet.
Yeah, Tim.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Weird John. That's exactly what we were talking about.
We do call him Timmy.
Yeah, we call him Timmy a lot.
Niall, if Timmy has a new movie out, Niall says Timmy has a new movie out. We're familiar with Timmy.
Yeah, we've decided, like, when I saw the some of the stuff from Marty Supreme coming out, I was like, hey, have you seen that? Have you seen the new Timmy?
You seen what Timmy was up to?
Yeah, Timmy's got a new movie coming.
Timmy.
I still gotta watch the Bob Dylan one.
Do you think anybody calls him
complete
Timmy?
Unknown.
Like in his life?
I hope Zendaya does.
Are they a thing?
I bet Kendall Jenner does. Isn't that who he's dating?
That's who he's dating.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought, is he not with Zendaya?
No, that's Spider-Man.
Zendaya is Spider-Man?
No, Zendaya is Michi.
Yeah. No, Zendaya is dating
Tom Holland.
Peter Parker.
Holland.
Oh, Tom Holland. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
You got her skinny white boys mixed up.
Yeah. Very easy to do, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I had. I did want to say that I also went through the Spotify comments because people were talking about it in their Discord, and I got to say, lots of lovely comments. Like, generally, people are very very nice in those comments. There were a lot of people who were interested in the J.R. Bob Dobbs and the Church of the Subgenius. People commenting and talking about their experience with that. There was somebody who was like really excited that we brought up Muncie, Indiana, and stuff, and they're like tickled by the fact that we're from Indiana, and a bunch of other nice stuff.
Well, and then there's the Gyoza Guzzler.
I was about to say, I literally have a section here of 3 comments that I titled the Gyoza Guzzler Gauntlet. So
that's a good way to wrap up the episode.
Okay. Well, I did have one comment from Connor that I have exactly one comment in this section at the very bottom of my document. This is a section titled Haters. This comment just is from Connor, and it says terrible podcast. And I just wanted to quick fire off a response to that. You're wrong. We rule, and fuck you, basically. So here's the Gyoza Guzzler Gauntlet. So Gyoza Guzzler, I think, has emailed us and is commenting on a lot of the Spotify episodes. So these are I didn't note all the episodes these came from, so I'm just going to read 3 comments that we have here from Gyoza Guzzler. Congratulations, you made it to the end of our mailbag. You're the finale. So Gyoza Guzzler says, my UFO weapon shoots out the brown note and a specific part of the light spectrum that makes you piss yourself. It's a universal weapon. Anything that eliminates liquid and solid waste is affected by it immediately. So that's their UFO weapon.
I think after each one we should say thank you, Gyoza Guzzler.
Thank you, Gyoza Guzzler.
Yeah, thank
you,
you.
Can we do a
Gyoza
3, 2,
Guzzler.
1 at the same time?
Yes.
And we'll do it right after 1, okay?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you,
Gyoza Guzzler. I already manifest butt stuff with my boyfriend. Does that count? If it doesn't, please accept this secondary manifestation. Sonoran hot dogs from BK's in Tucson. I miss them to bits. Every attempt at recreating them leaves me a bit more disappointed and homesick. 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Gyoza Guzzler.
So is Gyoza Guzzler answering our big questions here? Is that what's happening?
They're just responding to our episodes, and I think our big questions, yes.
Okay.
The big question is what they live for.
Yeah. I love that.
They look
Good
forward
point.
to it every week, and it's what instills their life with meaning.
Maybe we'll have a comment on this episode on Spotify about what they live for future episodes.
These are great answers.
Yeah.
I have one more for you. Gyoza Guzzler says, we gotta tell the youth that crystals are sentient. They power our electronics and remember stuff for us. Is it so crazy to believe that something can remember, can reason, can think, is intelligent? Have them try and make friends with other sentient beings or whatever the woo-woo youth are doing these days. Deity worship on Witch Talk is very much source. Trust me, bro. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Gyoza Guzzler.
That's been the mailbag episode of It Gets Weird. If you want in on this show sometime, like the rest of these people, write us at itgetsweirdpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, enough people should email us that they force us to do another one of these in a couple months.
Sure. I mean, look, I was happy doing this. I don't want to do it so regularly that it disrupts, but I would love to hear. I love hearing from people. We have a great community listening to the show, and it's always fun. And we have people like Gyoza Guzzler leaving fun comments on stuff. So, definitely hit us up if you have stories, questions, whatever.
Do you want to give Gyoza Guzzler a question to answer?
Oh shit! Is this the Gyoza Guzzler segment?
Because I assume they're listening.
We gotta leave Gyoza Guzzler with something to guzzle down.
Okay, I got a question.
Sure.
How many gyoza in one sitting do you think?
Yeah, what's your max?
What's your max?
It's like asking someone what their max weight is. Like, how many gyoza do you hit before you hit failure? You know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. How many gyoza before failure? I honestly, when I asked it, I kind of felt like I was asking a speedrunner, almost like what's their best time, you know? So, speedrunner, weightlifter,
you know,
Gyoza Guzzler, GBF, GG. Good game, Gyoza Guzzler.
That's it's like CU Space Cowboy, you know?
CU Space. That'll have to be in the video portions of the podcast. We'll just, if you get to the YouTube channel where all our podcasts are hosted, we'll just have in the bottom right corner, ... GG Gyoza Guzzler.
Yeah.
Do we want to fucking promote our shit?
Oh, yeah. We should probably still do that on the fucking mailbag episode. So we'll take care of some business now. If you want to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter at IGW Podcast.
You can follow us on Facebook.com/ItGetsWeirdPodcast.
And we're on all your favorite podcatchers. If you look up It Gets Weird wherever you listen to podcasts, we're probably there.
We're also on Blue Sky at It Gets Weird. Check it out. We also have Twitch, twitch.tv/ItGetsWeird. That's another good place to follow. Me and Colin are going to be getting back to some Pokemon Nuzlocke real soon. I've been away. People know it's been a fucking busy time, but we're going to get back to it real soon. And again, email us, itgetsweirdpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know how we should refer to you. Otherwise, I'm going to default to they or your username. So just a heads up there. Just let us know. Send us some cool stories. Send up some fun questions. Whatever's on your mind. Just, be reasonable. Don't be a dick. I did censor a couple. I was like going through some comments and like realizing like I shouldn't read this because I think this person's trying to be a dick. So, but again, most of the comments really nice people. So thank you again. Patreon.com/itgetsweird. Go fucking to patreon.com/itgetsweird right fucking now. Jules, you gassed us up while I was gone. I'm going to take some notes. This show is entirely fueled by people donating to our Patreon. That's why we're here. There's other reasons, but monetarily speaking, that's why we're here. It's helped me get new mic equipment and all kinds of stuff. It's helped with a lot of things with the show behind the scenes. So think of it as you become a part of the show when you donate to Patreon. And it's let me also say it is morally the right thing to do. So
if you want to see
thank
heaven.
you. If you want to see heaven, if you wish to receive the mandate of heaven, you will donate to patreon.com/itgetsweird.
This is more like it. This is what I was expecting.
Thank you. So please check it out. We have multiple tiers. You have a $1 tier. That's the tip tier. You get the satisfaction of helping out your favorite show. But the $2 tier and the $5 tier, we also get bonus content. We got It Gets Weird TV at the $2 tier, where Niall and I talk about weird television. We have World of Weird, where Niall and I talk about whatever the fuck we want at the $5 tier. And you're getting all of that. If you want the best bang for your buck, the $5 tier is the best way to go. You get everything we've ever put out on the show and all the bonus stuff that we've done. All of it. It's hundreds of hours of stuff at this point. So it's 100% worth it. So check it out. Whether you donate to the $2 tier or the $5 tier, you get access to the main show 2 days early on Friday instead of Sunday on your own private Patreon feed. And you get access to the Discord where we're hanging out, chatting with our listeners who are submitting us questions through the Discord. Some of them were on this episode because they submitted them through the Discord. So it's, again, we hyped up how great this community is. We have a lot of cool people in there. We have like an archaeologist, a dinosaur scientist in there. We have Weird John finally made it. We got all kinds of people in there. And it's a great time. So you're going to love it. Check it out. Patreon.com/itgetsweird. Give us your $5 or I don't know what I'll do, frankly. It's Halloween, so I might do something fucking scary.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Anyways, if you can't donate, if you know you're too tight on money, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your congressman all about It Gets Weird podcast.
And we still love you.
Yeah.
That's true. We do still love you. That to be very clear, the least you could do for us if you can't donate money, which I understand, it's hard to spend money on frivolous things like podcasts right now, but tell people about us. Tell your friends. Yeah. Tell your family. Like that.
Who's
the congressman thing.
Picture in your mind, who's the weirdest person you know?
Yes.
Tell them.
And be like, I have the podcast for you. It's about all kinds of weird shit. You're a weird person. And then see how they react to you accusing them of that. And then if it's going well, keep moving with that, line of dialogue. So please, if the least you could do is let people know. And I know people who listen to this show have promoted our show by telling their friends and family about it, which is so awesome. Thank you all very much. And again, one big heart shout out, big hug to the community. Jules is doing the K-pop finger heart thing. I don't know what it's called.
We're all doing it now.
I think that's basically it. We're all doing it now. So thank you all very much.
Jules, do you have anything you want to plug?
I'm on the internet. You can find me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But don't, find me.
Yeah, be cool.
Yeah.
Be chill.
Be cool.
Yeah, thanks,
be
everyone.
Cool.
I'm in the Discord.
It's true.
That's true.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you for continuing to support the show. This has been It Gets Weird, and I've been Niall.
And I'm Kyle, signing out.
Peace.